Hi Validum graduates and students, my name is Mel Pikos from Tactic Property. I was in the Validum 2020 class and this is my property journey. So what's my journey looked like so far in real estate? Well, I grew up in a property-centric family. Father was a property developer and uncles were all in construction, so I've been around it pretty much my whole life. I ended up going and studying property valuation at UQ. Initially I wanted to get into development, but it's obviously a very capital intensive game, and I ended up landing a job at Colliers International at that time as a property analyst. I did that for about 3 years and I moved on to another company called Trident Corporation, again in an analyst role where I was assessing a funds management portfolio, acquisitions and a commercial portfolio of somewhere in the realm of about $250 million. I then decided to make the jump into agency, and quite simply I was attracted to it because of the remuneration. I specifically chose the commercial sphere. It's a little bit different from what my family was doing, which was in the residential arena, which I just really wanted to round out my experience in something quite different. And ultimately I ended up at CBRE, where I became a director within their office services business, which effectively negotiates office leasing transactions for large corporates and anywhere from small businesses up to large, of course, as well. I did that for 8 years, and then myself and 5 other partners, we all decided to leave and form our own business called Tactic Property, of which I'm now the managing partner of, and again we are specialising in commercial office lease transactions. So my first year in real estate, I would say it was a lot of hard work, a lot of cold calling. Over time, those calls became more and more warm as you got to know people throughout the industry, but it was a lot of 7 a.m. starts, 7 p.m. finishes, lots of out of hours work as well. It is a very tough industry. It's certainly not as glamorous as what a lot of people like to make out it is. It's not all coffees and lattes and cruising around. There is a lot of hard work. I personally tried to dedicate my business hours speaking to the people that I needed to speak to, and tried to use my out of hours to finalise a lot of my paperwork and whatnot. I'd say in the first year there wasn't that much money that was made. For me, I didn't really start hitting my strides until the second year of my journey, where that effort that I put in the first year really started to pay off down the track. Why did I choose to work in property? Well, in some respects I'd say I was probably forced. I actually started off wanting to be an actor, and my dad by the age of 6 told me that was a terrible idea and that I should work in property like him. And growing up around the industry, I worked in my dad's office a lot, even on school holidays, so it really was a bit of a baptism straight into property. He tells a funny story that he was developing some townhouses, and by the age of 3 I was taking some ladies through and showing them around and telling them where the bathroom was and really selling them. Unfortunately they didn't buy it, but that was really the first foray into property and why I chose ultimately property as a career. But I did try and do something different to what my family does. They're all in the residential sphere, whereas I've chosen to go into commercial just to give a different level of experience and depth into the family. If you're new coming into this industry, I mean, it goes without a doubt saying to work hard, but personally in the commercial sphere, I try to go to as many business functions as possible. And it really is a networking event. You consistently need to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. It's certainly not easy going and introducing yourself to strangers that you might meet at a function, but I try to go to as many functions as possible. Whether it's property council or business events, and really trying hard to mingle with the people that are at these events, just to maintain those connections and to try and really build a business around your personal brand and identity. What are some good characteristics to be within the commercial sphere of real estate? I'd say having an analytical brain has certainly helped me. Understanding of financials and how a lease might impact the value of the property. If you can speak to building owners from the perspective of how you are going to create an uplift in value for them, whether it's structuring a lease in a different way. It certainly adds a lot of value to a building. I can think of one scenario in particular where I negotiated a lease to a federal government contract, and the value of the building increased by about $20 million. And ultimately, you get rewarded financially for helping people realise those kind of numbers in any given property transaction. So in terms of how Tactic Property are offering things a little bit differently to what, say, I've been doing in my previous roles, is that we've developed a YouTube platform called Talking Tactics, and it's really quite a unique way of presenting property. What it really is trying to establish a business channel whereby you are providing information that people that are involved in business, which is ultimately my target market, the people that lease the space that I am trying to advise on. Ultimately, I want to create a business audience that is watching these videos and then showcasing some of the properties that I am leasing. So that might include 95% of the topic being about a specific area that someone in business might be interested in, and then 5% of it is a little bit of a sprinkling of, say, the property that might be available for lease. So it is a very different structure. It is quite unique. No one else in our space is doing it, and it really comes from probably really wanting to do things just that little bit different, keep it interesting for us, but also really engage with the audience. I think commercial property, it's a little bit boring just looking at 100 workstations on a single floor plate. It's not really as sexy as, say, residential property where you can show off a beautiful high-end kitchen in a $5 million home or whatnot. Spanning through 100 desks probably doesn't give you the same level of connection to the space. So we've really tried to couple our strategy with including a lot of content that is business related. So how's that platform working out for us so far? I'd say it's still in its infancy. We're 6 months into our YouTube channel. One of the highest hits has been about 42,000 people that have viewed that video. It's 7 reasons why you should move to Brisbane. It goes for about 8 minutes, so that's definitely been our most successful medium. Also TikTok, we did one on the floods and potential to divert floodwaters into inland Australia. That TikTok's got around about 96,000 views at the moment, so that grew quite quickly. So we are starting to see the fruits of that labour, and I'm very confident that it will be successful. We're also launching a new business, or have recently just launched a new business called Tactic Spaces, which delves into interior design and construction of office fit-outs. And we're going to be running a block style renovation show, which will be launched on a new channel, just to showcase the end to end, what a space looks like at the moment, which is generally, quite a derelict old office, the transformation process during the construction phase, and of course the finished product. So I think that'll offer something a little bit unique, more to a wider audience, particularly in that sort of people that are interested in renovation shows. We love property in Australia, so I think that'll have really great cut through, and it will really showcase the end-to-end solution that we're seeking to provide our clients with. What do the clients think of the videos? I think in the first instance they were quite skeptical. They didn't really understand the concept, and it was really upon us to go and prove it up. So what we did is we went full tilt and hired someone within this space that previously used to work at Channel 10, and basically had to do a couple of demos to really show people what it was that we were trying to articulate and try to sell to them. Since then, we've had plenty of clients that have been super positive on the feedback that they've seen in the videos, and they really love the style and content that we're putting out. And some clients, I would say, have chosen us specifically because we are able to offer something unique to the market that no one else is doing. What's really funny is what the competitors think about it, because every time I go to a function and I have a chat to them, they'll bring up a video and they say, I disagree with you on this point or this point, and then they say, and then I watched this other video and I disagree with you on this point, and I'll say, so how many of the videos you've watched? And the funny thing is they've probably watched all of them, which is actually quite I find it quite funny that it's the competitors that are probably watching them and every single little detail the most. And I'd say it's probably one of those situations where they wish they could execute. We've got a bit of a unique platform where we can. My industry is dominated by large corporates. It isn't dominated by small businesses like ours. So we're a little bit more nimble. We don't have the same sort of corporate structure and requiring approvals. We can go out there and get things done a lot quicker. So what I'm seeing currently in the market is, obviously I deal with office space, and I'm sure that people that are watching this video might be aware that a lot of people are starting to work from home, and that's obviously been a challenge that has presented itself in the office leasing realm. I'd say the good thing for what I'm doing, a lot of competitors have actually dropped out of the industry because it is tough. It is tough out there. But like anything within this space, there's room for growth and improvement. And if you are willing to put in the work, you can definitely carve out an existence and a very profitable career within this space. It hasn't meant that no deals are happening. It's just meant that the dynamics of the deals have changed. But where there is a silver lining is that small medium enterprise, the SME market, that has really been the strong point of the commercial market, particularly here in Brisbane, the market that I operate in. Anywhere from 100 square metres to 500 square metres, which is, typically businesses between 10 and 50 staff. They've been on absolute massive growth trajectory. And when you walk into a business where the managing director's there, or the director's there, or whoever it is, if the business owner is present, or it's a small team, every single person is at their desk and they are working. You walk through some of the big corporates and it's quite hard for them to try and convince everyone to come back into the office. It is starting to change and we are seeing more of that, but it's definitely been the SME market that has completely outperformed the broader economic sector. It hasn't been the large corporations, and it's definitely a good time to be a small business owner. So if you're interested in getting in contact with me, I think the best way to see me on a regular basis is to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Talking Tactics with Mel Pikos. I try and upload a video once every week or every 2 weeks. That tends to be the upload schedule at the moment. But otherwise, my contact details are also within the YouTube channel, so you can get in contact with me directly via that platform.